Moving on to the second big issue we're tracking today, over to the debate over uniform civil code, especially with a focus on Uttarakhand, a state where a first such code can come to apply very soon, barring Goa, of course. After a late-night meeting with Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Monday, Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami met the Prime Minister today. Dhami briefed the Prime Minister about updates related to the UCC that is being planned in the state and claimed that the Prime Minister is keen on the implementation of the same. He also gave a clear-cut indication that a bill on the UCC will be tabled in the Assembly soon. After Prime Minister Modi recently raised the pitch on the UCC, the BJP has made it clear that it will be aggressive on its core ideological issues, which are, of course, including UCC in the run-up to the next year's Lok Sabha elections. And even as a national debate and law commission exercise is on, eyes are really on the Uttarakhand model as and when it is tabled. First, some details we have picked up on the Uttarakhand Chief Minister's meeting with Home Minister Amit Shah in Delhi. Now, we are told a detailed discussion on UCC was held with the Home Minister. The State UCC Panel Chief, Justice Ranjana Desai, who oversaw the entire drafting process, was also present. The Home Minister was briefed about the experts who were also consulted while preparing this draft. Now, some clauses in the draft are being looked at as controversial or problematic, and sources tell us that there was a plan discussed to how to tackle these clauses as and when a bill is tabled. The big debate that's coming up, though, is whether the Uttarakhand UCC template can become a model for India, and whether how the Uttarakhand UCC is tabled, accepted and enforced will set a tone for the country as well in the larger national discourse. That's coming up.
देखिए, अभी तो चूँकि यूसीसी कमेटी का ड्राफ्ट कंप्लीट रूप से हमें नहीं मिला है और उनका ड्राफ्ट जब मिलेगा तो उस पर तभी कुछ कह पाना संभव होगा। उस कमेटी ने ट्राइबल्स लोगों के बीच में जाकर भी उनके समूह से भी बात की है और उनके विचार भी लिए हैं, तो उसका सबका संकलन है उसमें यूसीसी कमेटी में। पीएम साहब देखिए, चूँकि उनको सभी इसके प्रावधानों के बारे में और उनकी सोच ही है कि देश के अंदर ये लागू होना चाहिए और उन्होंने स्वयं ही अपने वक्तव्य में कहा है, इसलिए उनको अधिकांश चीज़ों की सबकी जानकारी है।
Let's go across to the guests who are joining us. Shashank Shekhar Jha is a Supreme Court lawyer. He's with us. Some of our other guests are also joining us. Shashank, I want to understand from you as a lawyer. The court has already made it clear, the Supreme Court has already made it clear that individual state governments can actually look at bringing in UCC. We already have an example of Goa, of course, but that's more a legacy issue, not so much that was done as a brand new exercise in Goa. So I want to understand from you, do you feel legally there can be any challenges, whether it is Uttarakhand or whether it is the national government in bringing in a UCC? Because a lot of people seem to be feeling that this will run foul of their fundamental rights, including rights to religion.
Namaste Shivani ji and to your fellow listeners. Shivani ji, one thing is very clear. All those people who are saying that there should be a draft of UCC before we start to have a discussion on UCC, I guess they should be the most happy people around this country, because now we actually have a draft or an upcoming draft through which we will understand as to what the government is trying to do, be it a Uttarakhand government or if it will be replicated
so
by the central
government. So you're saying what the Uttarakhand draft will be more or less what the national draft will look like?
Yes, Shivani, because of the fact that Uttarakhand has a mixed population of Hindu, Muslim, Christians, Sikhs, Jains, tribals, and then, those who live in land and then those who live in mountains. So all kind of people and all kind of discrimination or division between the people as far as their caste, creed, gender, everything is concerned. So all those things, if will be taken care by the Uttarakhand, I guess that may be easily taken by the central government also. We need to understand that Uniform Civil Code, as we are talking here right now, what is being advocated by Article 44 of the Indian Constitution, it says just 4 things. 1, who and how can you marry? 2, who and how can you divorce? 3rd, how a child can be adopted? And 4th, how a property can be inherited. So these 4 things, I don't think there is much dispute here. Now, there is a very legitimate question as to there is a big difference between the communities of Hindu and Muslim, or for that point, Muslims and Christians, or for that point, tribal and non-tribal. So to those, we need to understand that when Hindu Code Bill was enacted in this country in 1955, there was a vast difference among Hindu community. If you go through the Hindu definition of Article 2 in Hindu Marriage Act, it defined Hindu as anyone who is a Hindu, be it Lingayat, be it Brahmo Samaj, be it Arya Samaji, be it Baudh, be it Jain, be it Sikh, be it Vedanshi, etc. So there are n number of difference in them also. In fact, Lingayat do not believe in Vedas. Brahmo Samaj do not believe in Murti Puja. Shaivite do not go to Vishnu Mandir.
I understand that. So your basic point is that within the Hindu community, and actually this was extended to Sikhs, Jains, etc. as well, there are so many vast differences. It hasn't really hurt anybody's freedoms, and especially religious freedoms. I'm also joined by Asif Bhamla, political analyst, joining us. Do you feel, Asif Bhamla, that this could be the perfect opportunity for the BJP to quell some of the misconceptions around the UCC? Because if a state like Uttarakhand becomes successful in tabling a draft bill and getting it passed, then it becomes easier for the national government also to convince people that, see, UCC is not this devil that you need to be afraid of.
You see, what are you going to do with people who want to utilize every law for their personal gains, whether it is UCC or whether it's the NRC or anything? Opposition और विपक्ष का काम क्या है? आपको कोताहियां और कमियां दिखाने के लिए. UCC is not a uniform dress code. It is a law जो सम्मान नागरिक का law है, जो हर देश में लागू है. पाकिस्तान में लागू है. हर पाकिस्तान तो कोई प्रगतिशील देश भी नहीं है, लेकिन हर प्रगतिशील इस्लामिक देश भी जो है उसमें भी लागू है. Now there is a section of minority communities. I am a Muslim. I think the biggest boon that happened to the women of the minority community was the banishing of the triple talaq. Today, the Muslim women are so happy. Why are the people not in a position to understand that these laws? You see, the problem ये है कि हम विपक्ष में तो हमें विरोध तो करना ही है. अब देखिए आर्टिकल 370 जो मोदी जी ने लाया, उसमें वो हमने कामयाबी हासिल हो गई. So there was, you see, we achieved success. Construction of Ram Mandir also, we were able to success. So this is a Samman Nagrik, जो Uniform Civil Code, एक राष्ट्र, एक निशान, एक विधान, एक संविधान is something which is propagated. No, this is propagated not by you and me. It is something which has been propagated by the Supreme Court, that if this is there, it will reduce the burden. No, it will reduce. No, let me submit. It will reduce the burden of the law agencies. You see, can you imagine for me and you and for my friend on the debate to argue? It's very easy here. But it's become such a challenge to deal with different laws, different community. There is so much of diversity in a country. How do you look at the progress of the country?
You raised a very important point, Asif Bhamla, which is that some communities are opposing or some community leaders are opposing. My point is that can we convince them? Or as you're saying that there is no convincing them. Whether there is a UCC draft in Uttarakhand or in Parliament, whether it becomes successful, I don't know, tomorrow in Uttarakhand or not, some will still oppose the UCC because it is about their own...
Why do you think the government in place is not yet come out with a draft? Because there is a whole lot of experts. There's a law communication that is initiated to exercise this. There is a public opinion that has been taken over on this. There are millions of references which have been studied at a lightning speed, because we don't want to commit any blunder. This is a question of the country's dignity.
No, fair enough. But in Uttarakhand, for example, a draft is nearly ready. The Chief Minister is not giving out much of the details, but a draft is nearly ready. A committee has already done its work for 1 year. And we're all waiting for what it's going to be, because that's going to give us a sense of what a national UCC could also be. But very quickly, Mr. Bhamla, please complete.
As a government, I'm spokesperson for the BJP as well. And as a government, let me tell you that our government in place is going to take every step very cautiously, because we know the opposition is going to try and find out loopholes in every single decision or legislation that we come up to, because उनका काम ही है ना.
No, fair enough. होना भी चाहिए democracy में, होना भी चाहिए, counterbalance होना चाहिए. नहीं, मैं आपसे जो सवाल पूछना चाह रही थी, मेरा मेन सवाल बस यही था कि बीजेपी के लिए अब ये आसान हो जाएगा अगर उत्तराखंड का ड्राफ्ट आ जाता है, बिल आ जाता है और पास हो जाता है, तो बीजेपी के, आपको क्या लगता है कि बीजेपी के लिए आसान हो जाएगा लोगों को कन्विंस करना कि देखिए उत्तराखंड में भी हुआ है, नेशनली भी होना चाहिए?
देखिए, एक राज्य में किसी कानून को पारित करना आसान होता है बनिस्बत देश भर में. देयर आर मेनी लॉजिस्टिक्स, देयर आर मेनी डेमोग्राफिक्स, देयर आर मेनी political parties, there are many permutations and combinations when it goes on a national level. And so, if at all it's happening in Uttarakhand, and which it will, so the draft cannot be just prepared and just thrown out, कि ये लीजिए, आप देख लीजिए, आप इसको स्वीकार कर लीजिए. नहीं. We are living in a fairly democratic country, so we have to ensure that all angles, all areas, it's a well thought process, and then
understood. You're saying you still need to be careful, which is good to hear. But there should be more consultation, I think, which is what people are asking for. अभी तो लॉ कमीशन कर रहा है invite opinion, but उसके बाद भी थोड़ा political consultation भी होना चाहिए, which maybe the BJP in power can initiate. Yes, Shashank, you wanted to come in. I have final minutes left. Yes.
Yes, Shivani ji, one thing which is common in Uniform Civil Code, which is being brought by BJP today, as far as I see, Hindu Civil Code, which was brought by Nehru government in 1955. During Nehru government, Nehru actually fought his elections in 1952 on the prayer that they will be bringing a Hindu Civil Code after they win the election. So they made this Hindu Civil Code a point to win the election, and then they brought it. They were opposition then also. Now similarly, BJP government also put it in their manifesto, be it in Uttarakhand or for that point central, and they won the election, and thereafter they brought it. So you need to understand.
No, in Uttarakhand, of course, it's absolutely fair. I don't think anybody can question the exercise of the UCC in Uttarakhand. They made it a poll issue. People gave them the mandate. In any case, every government needs to strive to ensure a UCC for the entire country. That's what the Constitution Directive Principle also says. Interestingly, what many don't talk about is that till 1935, in most parts of India, under the British, Hindus, Muslims and everybody actually did come under a common civil code. It changed only when the Shariat Act was passed. So if we could do that then why not now? Vivek Bansal is from the Congress party. Sir, you've joined us late. I have a final 2 minutes left. My fundamental question is that there is a lot of hysteria being built up on the UCC. Congress party hasn't quite made its stance very clear. But now we have a UCC draft of sorts for Uttarakhand. Don't you think as the national polity should come together to study that bill, that draft, when it gets tabled, and actually have a more constructive discussion on this than just, do fear-mongering on this? Mr. Bansal, you can hear me? All right. It looks like I don't quite have that connection. I'll give 30 seconds to Afsir Bhamla. I have to end after that. Yes, Afsir Bhamla.
You see, like the IPC, the CRPC, why can't we have a uniform civil code? This was suggested, recommended by the late Baba Sahib Ambedkar. Not only this, the UV Chandrachud, the Supreme Court judge's father, Mr. Senior Chandrachud, had also recommended this. So this is a very sought out law, which is better for a progressive country in larger interest in the interest of ensuring that there is more sanity, there is more unanimity. You see, in ek ke liye alag law, uske liye alag law.
Fair enough.
Political parties will not stop their politics.
Understood. And maybe then the public needs to judge them on that, on what stance they take as far as the UCC is concerned. I've run out of time. Asif Bhamla, I'm sorry, I've run out of time.
They will not come out with, unfortunately.
We'll slip into a very short break. We'll have more news and updates planned up. We'll also have a special chat on the Ashes. Remember, the Ashes battle is becoming uglier by the day. There's a lot of controversy. We'll get you more on that in just a bit.